Don't want to look through everybody's notes. I want to see.
Mine are short snippets.
I'm very.
Just like...
I don't have to take notes for this. This is very nice.
For some reason, I have like way more notes for chapter 1 than I do for chapter 12, which should not be the case.
We could definitely talk about. I mean,
we'll get there.
We'll get there. Yeah. Let's start.
Welcome back, everybody, to episode 2 of... What is it called?
What is this called?
Curry.
Welcome to Higurashi When They Podcast. We're going to be talking about Higurashi. Is it book 2, chapter 2, second in the saga?
It's book 2, you simpleton.
Watanagashi.
Yes. You simpleton.
I remember when I had those. Oh wait, those are Tamagotchis. Okay. Sorry, I had to make that joke. But yeah, we read book 2, and after book 1, I wasn't sure how they were gonna do a sequel, but they did it.
Yeah, they simply rewrote the story entirely. Well, I mean,
yeah, they pulled a Hatchetfield on us.
Sure.
I'm random bystander here.
What?
Oh shit, I'm random bystander here.
I'm the wash.
I thought I was random bystander here.
No, you're a Curry fan.
Oh, true.
Finally, we got that joke.
True.
If you weren't gonna do it, then random was.
Yeah, yes, I was like, this is the perfect opportunity. I must do it. Anyway, but yes, we get to see Kichi and his wonderful friends once again. So, takes place, back in the day in Himizawa, as if nothing in the previous story ever happened. And it starts out with Kichi and Mion and the gang all at like a toy store doing some games, doing their usual club activities. And there's something about Kichi not giving Mion a toy, but that's not important at all. Anyway, basically, during the games and sometime after the games, Kichi meets Shion, Mion's twin sister, who he thinks at first they're the same person, and they start to bond a bit more, and they start to develop feelings, I guess. And then turns out they are different people, and hijinks ensue, and then there's a festival and things go horribly wrong again. So
the hijinks.
That part sounds very familiar.
It does sound very familiar.
The hijinks of underground cave torture. The hilarity.
I meant the hijinks before the festival.
Well, I mean, those are some pretty wacky hijinks too.
Oh yes. Oh my god. Just when you thought everything was fine, it reminds you it's never fine.
It's never fine.
No.
So we're gonna talk about the elephant in the room of the fuck they're back.
That's like the first big wow moment. It even opens up. I forget exactly like the exact words, but Keiichi being like, you know, he wakes up and he's like, something feels a little weird. Like, for some reason, waking up today just didn't feel right.
And I'm like, oh, gee.
Yeah, no, and then Mion calls him and it's just like, hey, meet up time. Keiichi meets up. Renna's like, hi. They get to the toy store. Satsuko and Rika are like, hi.
And it's just back to normal, but not. But it's like literally like nothing ever happened. And I'm just like, again, to compare it to another thing we've done, I kept thinking back to the beginning of Black Friday when we see Paul and Lauren Lopez's character. I forget her name. I'm sorry. But we see them in Black Friday after what happened and the guy didn't like musical. We're like, wait, what? Only instead of we barely see them and it's not their story, it still is Keiichi's story and everybody's story.
Yeah, this is still very much Keiichi's story. Keiichi's a big player. Renna, Mion, newcomer Shion, all of them.
I will say, this is, while Renna was more the main focus of last story, definitely, hands down, the main focus is Mion in this one. Hands down. And I could tell from the very beginning.
They even said at the very end, Satoko, it's like, they just focused everyone on you. I didn't even show up.
I died. And I
I
didn't
died
even
off
have
screen. They threw me in a well, and well, that's the end of that.
to.
No more here.
By the way, spoilers.
Oh,
In case
You don't know about how old is this? Like 20-year-old?
it's 20 years old next year. Next year it turns 20. Yeah.
Nearly 20-year-old visual novel series. But hey, we didn't know, so you might not know either.
Well, I knew.
Great.
I wrote down Keiichi won poker by 1 chip, which did play a crucial part at the finale when Keiichi escapes the cave by throwing poker chips at Rena. When you say that, I'm now wondering, is this a time loop? Is that what the next 6 novels are gonna be? A time loop?
I assume. This is my theory.
So what I said, cause I talked with Randa when we were starting this, and what I said after finishing chapter 1 was, oh, this is, cause they say like early summer 1983, and I thought, oh, this is right before.
Yeah.
And I thought,
I was like, at first I was like, oh, you're probably right. And then we see certain duo, and then they mentioned the festival. I'm like, I don't think you're right anymore.
That was a cute idea, but
And then we see a duo appear. Like we'll get to that. We'll get to it.
We'll get to that.
That's later.
yeah. So we'll start how we did last time. Similarly, we're gonna do it a little bit faster so we can, compare what we've read thus far in its entirety, not just Higurashi 2. But the hijinks, wacky hijinks. I believe it's still chapters 1 through 6 for this one. I don't think they changed it. Maybe chapter 7. I don't fully remember.
No, chapter 6 was when it really got like twisted. Chapter 5 was the end of the hijinks.
Chapter 5 was honestly one of my favorite chapters of the whole thing, when it got, at least of the
was it because of the twin reveal?
Oh, that puts you on a fucking roller coaster. Oh my god.
This is where we're gonna start.
Okay.
Before the reveal, did you think Mion and Shion were different people?
I kept flip-flopping.
I kept thinking no. I kept thinking that yes, they were the same person. Especially because there were certain details with what Shion was saying to Keiichi. I mean, for me mainly it's like how does Shion, who's never met Keiichi, knows what Keiichi looks like. I know that she says that like, oh, my sister talks about you a lot, but it's like I don't think Mion said yes. He is a boy about my age, about 1 year younger than me, with black hair and a white shirt and khakis, and he has a voice that sounds like this. I don't think it works like that.
Mion's actually very good at impressions. That's the one thing.
My thing is that like, even when the twin reveal happened, I still didn't think.
Well, no, that's good. That's you're that means you're questioning how do I want to put it? You're questioning Keiichi's
You're questioning reality.
Yeah, you're questioning Keiichi's interpretations of everything.
Yeah.
I'll spoil this much for you. They are two different people. Don't doubt that. They are two different people.
Okay, the main reason why, like, even after the reveal would because that, like, as soon as they did get revealed, Shion became a completely different person. Like, Shion, I mean, there was a little bit of it when they were, like, talking in the quote date that they had right before the reveal, but, like, the whole time I was thinking, oh, this is, and I know I'm being strung along, this is Mion kind of splitting her two selves. She's splitting her feminine and her more masculine side.
Which is very subtle foreshadowing, by the way, with something else she's splitting.
I even thought that Rena is the one responsible, because she said something somewhere buried in there. She said something about splitting them in two. They are one and the same, and Rena has split their personalities like it's like the finale of Sam and Max Save the World.
So I'll say this much about Shion. She did become an entirely different person. That's correct, but that actually like it. Normally, I don't like. It's like the twist villain thing where they're just well, I guess Shion is a. Depending for the wacky hijinks portion of it, she's definitely a twist villain in a way,
without a doubt.
But I like it a lot more with Shion because you find it. Well, first of all, Higurashi's just a lot longer. The twist villain doesn't happen at the end. It happens pretty early on in the story.
Yeah, chapter 5.
But yeah, exactly. But also because that is who she is. She's honestly like we could talk about Shion and stuff. She's kind of a bitch.
Before I talk about my thoughts on her, can I tell you my thoughts on the twist?
By all means, go ahead.
I kept flip-flopping each and every time. I was like, no, they're the same person. No, they're different people? Oh, they're different people. No, wait, are they the same person? And I just kept flip-flopping, and and then at the end, right when like Ichi puts the pieces together of not giving the doll to Mion, I was like, oh god, it is Mion. And I just was like, oh god, I almost cried about how
it's sad.
It was like,
yeah.
There's like, hold on, what are my notes? The whole time there's like this whole scene where like not only do you see Kichi fight for her, but he also gets the whole crew to just mess with these perverts, which by the way was one of my favorite scenes in the whole book. Just to see those like guys get their comeuppance by a bunch of teenage girls. Oh, that was so good. Like I felt like this was like a heist of some sort. Yeah. I felt like this was like Sly Cooper. And it was like, okay, here's what we're gonna do.
So this is one of the very many reasons that I wanted to do the VN specifically and keep you guys away from the anime. Because the way that the way the anime pins it is, oh, girl is in trouble. The man is going to come and save her. The way that it's pinned in the VN is, oh, as a guy, I can just be like, oh, sorry, that sucks. Sorry that had to happen to you. Because as a man, this doesn't really matter. But I also understand that as a woman, this has to be the most terrible thing that can happen to her. I don't know what to do. What should I do? And that's when because the happy hijinks, obviously, it's like Higurashi 1 and how they're happy hijinks, but there is something more important being discussed. Mm. But with Higurashi 1, it was, making friends, settling in, stuff like that. Here, there's a heavy tackle on gender. Not so much there's no, transgender or anything, but it's very much about, what it means to be, if you are a man, we'll go with that. If you're a guy, what does that mean? If you're a woman, what does that mean? What are the differences? How do you act?
They literally do that with, Ichi cross-dressing, and then he literally has to go back to his house dressed as a maid or something. Mm-hmm. And then good old my favorite character. Good old Kichi's dad, Hugh Neutron, goes, oh hey Jimbo, looks like I gotta tell you about some things. Here, let's walk into my office and let's chat for a bit. We're gonna go to the Shadow Realm, Jimbo. And just I know that's not what he said.
You see, Casey, when a mommy duck and a daddy duck love each other very much.
But that the whole time I could literally not picture the Hugh Neutron's voice for that character. I don't know why.
If it works, if the shoe fits.
It worked so well. And I'm just picturing I thought it was Mion at the time. I'm just going, Jimmy's dad, no! Don't take us.
When I first saw that model, I was like, wow, they're really scrapping for new models, huh? They just put in Mion's face on another.
No. Hey! It's not Mion, it's Shion.
Yes.
Ah, anyway, there's a different. Oh wait, there is. Oh shoot.
And anyway, I got invested. This was the point. You know me, I love a good ship, and they were teasing the Shion Kichi ship or Mion Kichi ship all the way because we weren't sure which one it was, but whoever it was, the ship was there, and I was like, and then it got to the whole point where Kichi had the realization. I'm like, oh god, it is Mion, and this is her way of showing it. And Mion and then Kichi was so ready to be the friend that they want, be who they were, like to like give her the doll and buy it for her. And I was like, yes, you go, you make up for that mistake, you fix it, you make it happen, and let the ship of Mion and Kichi happen, because I originally shipped Rena and him, but not in this book. Not in this book at all. But I was like, yes, let it happen, let there be good happen. And then you go into the toy store, and then my jaw dropped.
Yep, that's the reveal. Like, the reveal of Higurashi 1 is like Rena shouting, "You're a lie," or "You're lying."
Yeah.
Like that's the big like wow moment. Here, you walk into a toy store and you see that there are two different people.
Literally, my notes were like, "Oh shit, you suck, Kichi," because he didn't give me on the doll, obviously. And I was just like, it's sad. It's sad. Who left this bowl of onions? Oh fuck. Oh fuck. Oh no. Jesus. Awkward. Oh god. And I was like, I don't know what's real anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I think I like Wacky High. I think the only character we were really introduced to was Shion. I don't think anybody else really got introduced.
We did get like super introduced to the teacher.
Well, yeah, I mean,
she valid, yeah.
She was around.
Reintroduced. Okay, no. Wash is totally right. We got to talk about Chie.
Oh my god.
That's why I said super introduced, because
there was like a passing comment last time about her eating curry once, I think, maybe. But here, oh boy,
it's like she takes her curry seriously, and they tell us right in the beginning of the chapter too.
And one of the only moments where the entire picture gets inverted. See, this happened a lot in the first book when Rena and Mion were asking questions and their eyes get cloudy. But in here, like, the scariest moment is when the teacher is just be like, hey Keith, could you come over here? And it says, so you know now, right? What do you mean? Korea, this world most respected and sacred entity, I will absolutely not allow it to be put in the same category as an onigiri. You hear me, you little shit? just saying swear words.
I was terrified.
Just cursing the hell out of him. Just calling him an asshole, and
I love. It's like, okay, so you know now this is a horror, right? We're gonna use horror, the things that I used to scare you last time, in totally normal situations.
At one point, it looks like Keiichi lost, and Mion just had this, and the description was something like Mion like looking so not even disappointed, like disgusted, like, who are you? just absolutely, for some reason that cut me hard. What?
It was normal amount of hijinks. Some of it was interesting. Some of it I was like, okay, when are we gonna get to the shipping moments in the horror? But
I thought the first one just kind of had a good balance of like, oh, it's silly, and oh, it's like calm, and we're learning about, you know, the structure and the landscape. And for the most part, I didn't really feel like it went too overboard in either of those regards. This one, some of the funny ha-has were pretty 2002. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It definitely detracts. I'm not gonna pretend like it doesn't detract. It does.
There was some I was having trouble with, and thankfully it doesn't.
The longer it goes on, the more it simmers. I noticed.
Kirby, the title for this episode is "Keiichi, You're a Pervert," which is what Rena says to Keiichi at one point, and it just kept going. It was chapter after chapter too, and in some of the weird fucking spots, like with Rika. Oh no!
Yeah.
Like Keiichi selling his friends to a couple of horny boys. And that happened twice.
At least.
The second time's not quite as bad. He's just like, hey, I'll give you their curry. I mean, it's weird.
Yeah, that's
like, we're not gonna sit here and pretend that it's like not weird, but it's not like nasty like the first one was. That was nasty.
The first book had it really in one chapter. and then it was
and I
done.
mean, even that with Rika, it's like she wore cat ears, like big whoop, so she looked cute. Satoko Satoko gave him a back massage, which is embarrassing and like humiliating, which is the whole point because Satoko's this high and mighty character. So it's nothing like, what are you doing? Like it was here.
Yeah.
That's why I was just really like the whole setting of Angel Mort felt like pandering, even though it's making fun of the people it's pandering to.
You know what I noticed? They never resolved that game in the toy store.
Yeah, no, they never did. They never got the chance.
Yeah,
because they were gonna do it. They were gonna do it at the festival. That was the whole thing. It's like enough time had passed, so it's like, all right, we're just gonna do it at the festival, and then festival stuff, which we'll get into, of course. But
that was why I thought this was gonna be a prequel to the first book, because that detail was like, oh, so they're talking about all the games they're gonna play at the festival, and that's what happens in book 1. That's what I thought it was gonna lead to. But
nope.
Nah, fuck it.
So, I mean, the only other thing that I really have to say about the wacky hijinks, then I'll just leave the floor to you guys, is, did this? Yeah, yes, this did happen during the wacky hijinks. When, Keiichi was really happy about something, I forget what it was. He tipped over the motorcycles and the gangsters came up and everything.
Yes.
And then everybody from Hinamizawa ganged up on them. And then Oishi showed up.
Oh, yes. Like, way early.
Yeah, way early.
Yeah, he was really, because he doesn't appear until after the festival.
Yeah, Oishi didn't show up until after the festival. This time it's like, I think it was like chapter 3 or something like that he shows up, maybe 4.
Yeah,
it's
all
like
of a sudden you just hear, all of a sudden, like in the middle of chapter 3, you hear, I hate that laugh so goddamn much.
Yeah, that great laugh. But it's like, he comes by, it's like, is everything going okay? And she is like, yes, everything's fine, officer. Thank you very much for coming here. I really appreciate you coming here.
And meanwhile, we have like the greater good of Hinamizawa.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, was everybody like staring at the cops? Is that what was happening?
No, they were staring at the bikers, and they're just like,
it was intimidation.
If we're gonna be moving on to the second half soon, there is one note that I have to have since we mentioned Curry.
Well, yeah, like that was my last thought. The floor is up to the floor is on you guys now. So
yeah, so I wrote this down in my notes, and I'm glad I caught it. So I can say this. That thing with the with the curry, with the curry. This word was supposed to take what is curry. The funny thing with that was, I guess my PC was having a bad time, because during the speech, VLC player crashed in a very specific way, where I couldn't see the video, but I could still hear her.
Oh my, I'd be terrified. Oh my god.
Like, I was trying to stop the video, and like, it wasn't showing up on screen, and I just kept
curry.
Even the Apple Tower was tickled and simmering curry to make whether you're sleeping or awake. Curry. Like,
that reminds me of when we were watching Coco for Pixar's perspective, and when Miguel, spoilers for Coco, when Miguel takes De La Cruz's guitar, my computer crashed. He's like, sorry about this, and he takes the guitar, my computer crashed. It's just like that.
Oh my god.
That's anything else that I want to say, it really has to do with the second half. I mean,
I'm trying to think. Hang on.
Yeah.
Edit this. Edit me looking out.
Hey everyone, Future Kirby fan here. I don't actually have any footage of random looking out that I can add to the video. So I'm just here to tell you that I hope you're enjoying the episode so far, and we appreciate all of your support. Wash will plug everything that we have to plug at the end. Really appreciate your time here. I don't want to keep you too long. We still got the rest of Higurashi 2, Watanagashi to talk about, so enjoy.
Even in the beginning, there was a lot of foreshadowing. I noticed.
Oh, you know what I really liked? I know I said I would stop, but I just remember. You know what I really like? All the callbacks to the Higurashi 1.
Yeah, there was.
I love those. Like when Rena's like, listen, everybody, like what you think they are in the base, that's not all of who they are. Like people are deeper than that.
Oh my. God.
And then Keiichi's like, all right, wait a minute. If this is what we think about Satoko, Rika, and Mion, what do I think about Rena? And he looks at her and like the screen goes black and the music stops and he's like, It's okay. She's still Rana. She's still my friend. I love that
my
part
God.
so much.
That, other than that, and like a few moments, there's at one point where Shion goes, "If I'm in trouble, you'll come save me, right?" Because she saved him, and not only usually we'll think, "Oh, that's he saves her," or he organizes with a group to save her, and the whole thing with the waitress. But that also applies to what happens later in the book, where let's just say Kichi comes to save her a bit.
Well, you say that, but he was really like, hey, everything's fine. Your mother's sister is here, and I'm helping out.
Yeah, I'm helping. I'm here.
Stop panicking. Stop panicking. What? You look like somebody's gonna kill you. Stop.
Come on, stop it. She's fine. Sure, she's got a stun gun, but it's fine.
So the festival's very different this time around. It's it starts very similarly, but around the time where Rika starts her dance, that's when things start to get really different.
I would say even before that, there's because remember, Kichi helps to prepare the festival too.
Yes, very good.
And then we're like, oh, the festival. I wonder if this is exactly the same festival, because the name may sound similar, but it's not like we're gonna see any other characters that like died in the past. And then, ching! A flash happens, and you see the photographer and the
nurse.
Tamakaki-san and Tamo-san. Tamakaki-san and Tamo-san.
Tomataki is the photographer. Takano or Takano?
Wash, you were super close. Takano is correct. It's Tomitake. Like K-E, not K-I.
Either way, my first note when I see them is, ah!
Tomitake's face elicits such fear.
Because that was the moment where I realized it's a loop. Wash is wrong. We're in a time loop.
Ah, shit. Here we go again.
Yeah.
Literally.
And then literally they start talking about like the festival and the curse and all the stuff that was built up gradually in the last one and in a couple chapters was all like in one conversation.
No, what I really like about this, my first time through, like way back, I remember thinking like, oh, they're just kind of repeating information that we already know. Like, why are they doing this? But it's very important actually, because the first time it's mostly Tomitake explaining it, so you get kind of the more realist version of it, where it's like, all right, these are the facts. This is why it's not a curse. This is just people being kind of crazy. But this time you get Takano telling it, and Takano is very clearly fantasized with fantasy. And she's super into the idea of it being a curse. You get an entirely different outlook on it. You also get Shion saying like, no, it's not a curse. People did it. And Tomitake being like, I take pictures.
He's trying to be neutral, but he's kind of starting this.
You know, Takano loves that stuff.
Oh god, I hated her in this one. Especially like later in the
in chapter 7, where she thought that like a great time to tell a ghost story is while they're breaking and entering.
Oh my god, I think that was chapter 8. Yeah, it was chapter 7. Never mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. That whole thing, because it starts out nice with them doing the festival, and, you might have heard my door slam. It starts out nice with them doing the festival, and they're, funny enough, just advertising other stands. It's like, hey, let me say a good thing about this stand. And then this, and they were just they were literally just doing free advertisement.
Yeah, except they were all really bad at it, except for Keiichi.
And then things get wrong, because you're like, oh, we're gonna watch Rika-chan do the dance again, because we watched it in the first one, right?
Yes, we were there.
And then Shion invites Keiichi for what we think is gonna be a good time for him.
Pervert. But
Pervert,
no.
Yes.
No, Keiichi's like, I want to see Rika dance, and Shion's like, come with me, and he's like,
no.
Dance?
I'm just saying. No, I'm saying that it's like, he says, oh my god, is this it? Is this the time?
Yeah.
Is this what Dad's been telling me about?
Well, hey, Jimbo, make sure you get ready. Get your duck
Now
ready.
you're going from Hugh Neutron to Goofy there. You're straddling the line.
Yeah, there is. I mean, Goofy is a dad,
Hey,
but
it's hard to it's hard to do the voice.
so anyway, festival stuff. How did that settle in with you guys?
Oh, the torture chamber. Oh, the torture chamber. I was like already like, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? You know you're gonna regret it. You regretted it last time with whatever the hell you did. I don't even remember. But you did. Why? Why? Don't go in a place that is locked up in storage and where it's forbidden. Like, why? Why would you do that?
I mean, to be fair, Keiichi didn't want to. Like, it was a very big thing. He's like, I just want to watch my friend. I don't want to do this. But Shion's like, come on. And he's like,
do it for
okay.
me.
Come on.
And
No.
yeah.
Please. No. Please. No. Please. No. Please.
Please. Okay, make it quick.
That's okay.
That's okay. Even if you do a break and enter, why are you just standing in the room and telling ghost stories for hours? Why do you think that's the right time?
That's just who Takano is. She likes to scare people.
Oh my god,
Literally
she was...
like the two of them should have just said, "Hey, we're in a bad spot right now."
I don't know why Shion didn't leave. Like, Keiichi's like, all right, I don't want to be here, but Shion wants to be here, so I'll be here just to help her out. Fine. I can understand why Keiichi stuck around. I don't get Shion. It's like
they're talking about like how she said like she wanted to throw up, and it's like, if you throw up, it's gonna make it 10 times worse for everybody. So let's just get out of here.
Worse than it already is. Yeah.
My thoughts is, like, her thought process was, okay, this is terrifying, but I'm here. And my curiosity wants to see what else is here. That's my only reason I could think of why she stuck around.
I mean, that's why. And she also, she knows about the history of Hinamizawa, but she wants to see it for herself because she's not that crazy about the place. It's just, I get why she did it. It's just also, like, I don't get why she stuck around for as long as she did. That was my thing. I love the idea of Takano telling the stories, Shion and Keiichi screaming because they're scared, and Toмотake just being like, I'm cleaning my camera lenses.
He's literally just waiting outside.
He's just, like, and then at some point he peeks his head in and he's like, how's it going, everybody?
Why are there torture devices now? And, like, why is this all about cannibalism?
And then they like, and
more importantly, why are you still here?
Like, even when they stepped out, it was like, oh god, this was worse than our time since the post-war canned flesh incident. Anyway, have a nice night, everybody.
And I'm like, what?
No, I love the one thing that it's not that it was funny, it's just that, like, again, when you contextualize it in a way of, like, Toмотake just being outside the whole time while everybody's screaming inside. I like when they leave and Tomotake's like, so Takano, what did you think? And she's like, I could have done with more.
She's a bit of a psychopath.
Oh, she is.
And we'll get to her later, like near
well,
the
no,
end.
because at the end of this, she's already got burned and possibly strangled.
Keiichi's such an idiot sometimes. Like, when the ball is in his court, he has a way with words like nobody you're ever going to, like, ever read about in fiction ever. But when it's not, he's the worst. He's like, it's not that he says no. What he says is, I don't remember.
And he does that excuse multiple times, and I'm like,
yes. I love what he tells Oishi, but we'll get to that.
And I'm just like, you're a fucking moron, kid. There's literally so many times where it's so spelled out in the story. Like, even Rena's trying her best just to not flat out say it.
Yeah.
But you're a fucking moron. Like, oh god, there's one point we'll get to where I literally just go, you fucking idiot! How do you not put 2 and 2 together?
All right, well, let's get closer to talking about that. Let's talk about the second half after the festival when Mion reveals that she got drunk.
Oh yeah, she had a big hangover.
That was the thing. Yeah, that's what happened.
Yeah,
that's what happened.
Oh yeah, that is what happened. What you don't trust Mion? Come on. No, he's your friend.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, best friend to the end, no matter what.
Best friend to the end, no matter what. Even after She tortured me. Best friend, no matter what. Hey, Mion, I brought you
I
Darcy.
realize this is like the whole Wormy incident. It's not her fault. It's just everybody else is overreacting.
Hey, Mion, I'm so glad to see you after you tried to torture me. Oh, you stabbed me. Why?
That has to be the single biggest Keiichi, you're a moron moment in the whole thing.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
Like, Keiichi is I'm not about to say that, like, Keiichi's the smartest guy in one, but it's not, listen, next time you see me, I'm gonna kill you. Don't come after me. Sees her. I'm coming after you.
Oh my god. Okay, yeah. If we are gonna go that far, there's a lot of Keiichi is an idiot moments. One that stuck out with me is when we find out the reveal, which is ironic, and it's when we find out Shion disappeared shortly after the festival. And it literally goes like, Shion is like, oh my god, if Shion's gone, who am I talking to? Who could it possibly be? I'm like, you fucking imbecile! Who the fuck do you think it is? I know she has a twin, but who could it be?
Like, didn't we spend like half the story building up to the fact that
the twin hijinks. Who could possibly sound like Shion? Who could do the perfect Shion impersonation?
I literally go,
of
you're
course,
an idiot.
It's Oishi.
I literally go, you idiot, you're an idiot. Oh, there you go. There you go. And I was like, I was just so pissed. I was like, why the fuck have you not done this?
To give Keiichi the benefit of the doubt here, he's very scared and his mind is blocking the truth from him as a self-defense precaution, which is why he's so scared of when Shion is going to call him next. And when she finally does call, it's like he's got a lot of mixed emotions about it. And then he finally confronts her, and then she just kind of loses it laughing at him.
Can I just say the performances were on tight, especially for Mion and Shion.
Oh yeah,
like, my god,
acting is great.
Oh my god, like especially like the crying transitioning to the laughing on the phone. Oh, that was like my third or fourth. Ah!
Wow, third or fourth at that point, so much less than last time.
Well, it wasn't that bad this time.
Yeah, no, last time is like every 5 minutes there's
like it was tense. Here it was just more melancholy and sad. But it did get tense near the end. But even then, it was still more sadness moments.
To use an overused term, there was a lot of gaslighting, especially from Mion, because he just for the entirety of the second half, Keiichi was like, this is all my fault. This is all my fault, and it's like, you know, you're talking about like actual murderers, right? Like,
you didn't murder the people.
You didn't murder these people, and the fact that they're saying like, if only you had given me that doll, doesn't change the fact that like they still killed somebody because they didn't receive a toy.
That kind of pissed me off.
I will actually like full on defend Keiichi for this one. He felt a little bad about it. Like he shares the blame, but he didn't start beating himself up over it like that until Rika and Satoko went missing. They're his friends.
Oh my god.
They're his friends. And that is a different story. He feels directly involved for what happened to them.
Even when not only do we hear this, but also when I think Oishi tells it to Keiichi directly that, oh, by the way, both the mayor and Rika were involved in weakening the sacred shed, the sacred shack. That they're both responsible for this, and that could be probably an ulterior motive. He was still just like, it's my fault that Rika is dead. This is the victim, is what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, no, Keiichi, yeah, absolutely.
Especially since Mion Shion basically manipulated, being like, I told the mayor and now he's dead.
Yeah, and that's when Keiichi puts two and two together, like, oh god, what about Rika?
Yeah, and not only to lose Rika, but also Sakato, who had nothing to do with it whatsoever.
pretty big. It's pretty big. So, because like this is something that even my first time reading, like the warning sirens are going off in my head that something wasn't right. When they talk to, no matter at what point in the conversation, when they're talking to Mion about like everything she did and why, like they bring up Satoko, but she never talks about Satoko. She only talks about, oh, this is what happened with the mayor, this is what happened with Rika, blah blah blah. Satoko is never brought up.
No, there is, cause there's a moment where after they both go missing, for some reason, Keiichi, who pretty much knows that like Mion is pretty damn fishy at this point, to be like, hey Mion, could you hold this ladder for me while I climb?
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about at the very end, like chapter 12. That's what I'm talking about.
Very end.
When Mion is like, yeah, I did this thing, I killed all of them. Here's how I got myself involved with the mayor and Rika. But she's just like, Satoko is never brought up. I'm like, why?
Well, nobody liked that. Nobody liked her anyway. You're just kind of a bitch. What?
Oh, Shion is way more of one than Satsuko. Don't even get me started.
There's a point where I didn't like cry or anything, but like I felt bad for Keiichi because he genuinely thought it was his fault. And even Rena was like, it's not your fault. And she kind of knew. She knew from the beginning. And oh, can I just fucking say, Rena was so goddamn supportive in this.
I definitely, we'll talk, I want to go about the characters like individually later. I really do.
Sure.
So we'll do that later. But for now, that like Rena like that whole thing when Keiichi like is kind of dawning on him that like Satsuko and Rika are probably dead. And then there's the whole thing that, you know, he gets upset and Rena's there to help. I really like that part. My other favorite part is definitely when Oishi shows up to interrogate and he's like, hey, did you see Shion or Tomotakano or Tomitake? And Keiichi's like, I don't remember, blah, blah, blah. Oishi he goes to leave. He turns around and says, all right, well, since you don't seem to remember, I'll tell you. You were with them. I saw you. It's like, oh my God. Oh.
It's literally a trademark of the character.
Yeah, his laugh, yeah.
And he's like, and his air-conditioned car.
Of course. Of course. I'm telling you, the air-conditioned car. There's a reason the community attaches themselves to this air-conditioned car.
Literally, there was one point where it's like, let's go in my car to talk. And it's like, does the car have air conditioning?
Yeah, Keiichi opens the door and he's like, oh my God, there's such air conditioning.
It's cold. And I'm like, it does.
The only way to make this more perfect is if you say, come on, let's go eat some curry inside my air-conditioned car.
Opens up the door, Chie's in there. Oh, it's just eating curry.
But yeah, I'm trying to think of anything else. So are we just talking about like story things in general?
Yeah, and then we can move on to characters next.
I love how Rena discovers everything and just plays detective.
Yeah, she's very
with soy sauce.
Soy sauce, yeah. She's very perceptive.
Which was good because that was a very handy trait to have when she caught Keiichi's obvious lies in the first book.
It adds up. It adds up.
It adds up.
Can I just say, it was interesting how like throughout most of the story it was Keiichi's point of view, but for the tips, a lot of the tips.
Yeah, we got a couple in the first one too from Oishi.
Yeah.
I mean, in the first one,
especially, but that was more near the end.
This is like we're looking into the deaths of Takano and Tomitake, especially Tomitake. This is like some of the more scientific stuff about it. We're doing our investigations. Give me some cream puff. This one was a lot more invested into Oishi personally. Less about his job, a lot more about not only his job, but also his personal investment in all this.
And especially like in the second half, a lot of Takano. At first, we just see this scrapbook excerpt, and we don't know who it's from. And then we see Takano, and then she starts talking through it more, and then the scrapbooks keep going through well after she died.
Yeah.
And that's another thing. We nobody ever asked about the scrapbook. Nobody knows anything about the scrapbook. I'm assuming that all the evidence she accumulated and such is just burned along with her. I have to assume.
I like when Rena calls Oishi out. I like that. And I really like when Keiichi confesses to her and she's like, hey, did anybody ever scold you for this? He says no, and she's like, all right, I'm gonna scold you, okay? And like that whole thing, that's good. I like that a lot. I love when she calls out Oishi. That stuff's fantastic.
Oh my god.
But when they
great.
get to the Sonozaki Manor, it drags. It drags so much. And like it starts to pick back up again when they get to Shion. Then it's like, okay, this is interesting. Okay. But just that whole thing, like the history lesson, just that exposition dump, it's like, God, this is taking forever. This is taking forever.
Oh my god.
We could have done this in 10 minutes, but it's taking an hour.
And not only that, but it was just getting really... It was just getting... It was getting sad in a tiring way.
Yeah,
it was like, I'm not...
Yeah, it was like I've heard, this reminds me of Pocahontas in not a good way.
That's a weird-ass comparison to make there, but okay.
No, I mean, it's more like, oh god, we hate the demons. They're the evil ones, but really we're being prejudiced. And I'm just like, man, this sounds like a lot of stories I've heard.
But like
Okay.
this is the thing, you know, I brought this up a lot last time, and I didn't really hear much from either of you, so I don't know if you agreed or not, but like, for all the scary stuff in Higurashi 1, which mind you came before, it's super freaking sad.
Oh, yeah.
Like, Higurashi 1 is tragic. It is horribly sad. And it's like, this one's sad too, but there's stuff that drags on like that, and it does not hit the same way.
Like,
And without getting
like,
into too much, like, I know the answers. This isn't just like, oh, I'm reading it and I'm bored. Like, no, I know the answers, and I'm still like, God, this... Hurry up, move on.
When it got to chapter 12, and I don't mean this the wrong way, but this is just how I was feeling. When it got to chapter 12, and Casey was getting strapped up, and Neon was talking about hammering nails, like hooked nails, into his finger, into his fingernails, like at the tips of his fingers. I was thinking, why did I agree to doing this podcast?
It's Star Kid all over again.
It wasn't nearly as bad, but it was also just like, oh god, this shit sucks. I'm not a gore person at all.
I mean, it's horror, so I assumed it was coming at one point.
It doesn't have to be like horror can there can be plenty of extremely effective horror without gore. Exorcist.
You want a good example? Higurashi 1.
I mean, there was some gore in Higurashi 1 with the whole ending, with the whole chopsy. And the fun fact, I like that you hear that same sound effect at the end of the second one.
It's not nearly as descriptive.
No.
Yeah, you get I clawed out my throat and I beat Ren and Mion to death. That's it.
Like in this one, it's talking about hammering their fingers with nails. They're talking about they're talking in detail about the torturing that they do, about sinking people slowly into swamps, about just on and on, and it's
a part of me understand, because I mean, they even talked about this at the end of the last one. You know, the first one was about Hinamizawa in 1983. And this one focuses a lot more on the history of it, like the culture of it, so to speak. The history of it and how some of these rituals are maybe still being carried out to this day. Like, who knows, whatever. Which is, like, not as interesting, I always felt like. I always feel like this is something, every time I come back to this, it's like, all right, this is necessary. I do have to read it, but necessary doesn't always equate to interesting. Like, you dig?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. There were points where I'm like, I really don't want to finish this.
I mean, like, we're not done yet, but if you trust my word, this is like bottom 2 as far as
bottom 2.
Oh,
for, like,
no.
all the Higurashi books go.
Oh,
no,
no.
yeah, like this, like we're basically through some of the worst of it. The one that's actually my least favorite is actually a pretty hot take, which we'll get to when we get to. But we're pretty much, in my opinion, we're generally through the worst of it in terms of like the quality.
It's like Star Kid. You gotta get through the bad to get to the good.
A slight difference to Star Kid in how the first one was actually really good.
Yeah.
We got to talk about the characters. There's a lot to talk about, but specifically while talking about the characters. I want to use this as a way to not only talk about how they were here, but to compare them to how they were last time and kind of draw some conclusions and parallels. It makes sense to start with Keiichi, but I really want to start with Rena.
Yeah, me too.
I really want to start with Rena. Are you all right with that, Wash?
Oh, 100%.
All right. Rena, what do we all think of her this time? And this is why I want to start with her compared to last time.
Oh my lord, she was so dependable.
Well, she was just as dependable last time. It's just the last time.
Yeah.
Last time a lot of things went wrong. Mainly that Casey kept a secret from his best friend. And that's not what friends do.
But at the same time, Rena wasn't like, lies! She was more like very understanding.
Oh, no. There was none of that. I think we were all expecting that after the first one. But no. She's a friend. And the thing is that she's dependable, but also you can see a lot of the hints where she's not very surprised with what Casey says, because she knows. She knows exactly what's happening in this town. And there's kind of a double-edged sword for her personality. That like she's dependable, but she's an accomplice.
Any particular things? Is there anything? I mean, we didn't really talk about like a lot of the ideas that you had for the first one last time, so it's a little hard to guide. Like, I don't know what to ask you specifically about what, but did this help contextualize anything for Higurashi 1 for either of you? Did this spark your creative imaginations and get you thinking differently on certain things, certain ideas you might have, stuff like that?
For Rena, I not as much. At least this time around, I felt like this was about the same, and like she straight up says like at one point that that people have a contradiction, that everybody has a side that's opposite to how they usually show, and Casey makes a joke about it. I accidentally makes a joke about like, I don't want to think about what Rena would be like, so I'm not gonna.
I love that so much. It's so funny.
Random, what do you think? You're a bit quiet so far.
I'm trying to think of. I've been thinking of like like the exact specificness, but I would say like, yeah, we don't see Rena's demon eyes once in this. So, and which is funny because I was expecting it at one point, and we never really see it. Like you said, she's more of like a subordinate going against her superior.
Mm-hmm.
And she's really, really there for Kichi when he needs it. And she's not afraid to scold him, of course, but like throughout the whole time, she's with him. She rescues him. She's aiding him like with Mion too.
She's a good friend, and as an accomplice, she doesn't want what's going on in the town to happen to her friend. Which has its own messed up qualities to it, but that's kind of
definitely think about like what the difference is. Why Rena acted the way she did last time compared to this time. Think about that, and I mean, I guess we'll get into this when we get to Keiichi, but also think about not so much. Trying to think of a good way to put this, like Keiichi. Well, we'll wait till we get to Keiichi, but definitely think about a lot of the whys of Rena and how not so much. I guess not really even the whys, but how much both of these two things add up to each other. What do Higurashi 1 Rena and Higurashi 2 Rena, when combined together, what parts of what she did in 1 and or 2 make sense?
Hold on, because I'm now looking at my Higurashi 1 notes to try to add some extra things, like what was the snapping point for Rena.
So the point that things, like the first time that Keiichi really started doubting Rena, I mean, there were like little doubts here and there, but the first time that it was like, they had like a big thing out of it was when Keiichi confronted Rena, said, "You're hiding something from me. Are you keeping secrets?" And she said no, and he was like, "No, you are." And then she said, "All right, well, you're hiding a secret from us too, right?" And then Keiichi said no, and then she shouted, "You're lying!" And then that was the first like big one. There were little stuff before then, but that was the first one where it's like, oh shoot.
So in this case, it's like, because in both cases, Rena knows that Keiichi is hiding something, but at least in the first one, Keiichi wasn't like wasn't antagonistic towards Rena about it, I guess. she like in this case, Rena was just more sad that like all of this is going on, and Keiichi still has to apologize. If he just apologize, we can go back to normal. Even though we have multiple corpses, we can go back to normal.
He at least figures it's like, hey, you know, it's, I don't even want to say better late than never. It's more like better late than everyone being gone instead of everybody except for Rena. And you know, they try to make something out of it. They're like, oh, it's just the two of us. You know, okay, let's try. No.
Oh yeah, Rena's the only one who technically survives.
Yeah, no, she makes it out.
But yeah, that's the main thing. I just noticed I kept expecting her to turn on Keiichi, but she never does.
She never does.
Never did.
She never does.
And I'm glad. Because I was like, oh, this is nice. It's nice to have, it's nice to know that if Rena's around, everything's okay. Or
she's gonna get stuff done.
Yes.
And well, that was
she does get a lot of shit done. And the thing is, though, she was on our side. Because when she got shit done against us last time.
Like, fast, too. Like, damn, we should have done this days ago.
Oh, yeah.
Where were you?
She literally even tries to advise Keiichi, like, look, I can't say what's going on. I know you're an idiot, though, so here's a hint.
That's literally what she says. That's, like, basically what she says.
Even Rika, the child, the one that is, like, years younger, is playing, like, meow, just as long as the cat keeps meowing, everything's gonna be okay. You get it, punk?
Am I the cat?
And then it's just like...
Just to be sure, we're not getting an actual cat,
I
right?
was just gonna say that!
The big sister cat is mad. Oh, there are two cats now? Wow.
Okay, we could talk about the moron in the room. Let's talk about Keiichi.
Oh god.
Again,
was he dumber
it's
in
like
this
when
one?
the ball's in his court, he's so good with it, but he's got such a hard time getting it back.
Yeah, every time he turns into stupid Keiichi, I'm just like, god damn it. You're only doing this for plot and to add more to the word count. Stop.
Add more to the word count. There is that, I mean... it is very wordy. I like that one. It didn't really feel like last time. Too many words were wasted, I felt like. This one was definitely like, okay. Okay.
Alright. Keep going, yes.
Yes.
Who could it be?
Yeah.
We all...
Yeah.
Who could it be? If it's not me, if it's not Shion, who else sounds like her? But other than that, Keiichi was out. There were points where he was dependable, too. Like, that whole scene where he's like, okay, I know what I gotta do. I'm gonna buy Shion me on the doll because I know I fucked up. That was great. Like, the fact that he was so ready to do that and just, like, be that dependable was great. He just did it on the wrong fucking person, and that wasn't his fault.
I mean, I kind of want to talk about the fact that it was a curry making competition. He made a goddamn rice ball and convinced everybody that it was curry. Like, that's something you gotta, that's...
With Mion's help.
Well, yeah, but I mean, barely. Most of it was basically by himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, still, I mean, curry is this world's most respected and sacred of dishes. Curry.
At points, I would just like, there were some points like, oh wow, he did it, and then I was like, wait a minute, I would have been pissed if I actually made curry.
Basically, don't blame Keiichi, blame freaking Satsuko for tilting the pan over.
Oh, that pissed me off so bad.
I mean, she wanted to win. She wanted to win.
I know, but it's like there's some points where I think they go too far, and I'm just like thinking if I was in that position, I would have cried.
Well, then you wouldn't be in the club. That's how
no, I wouldn't. There were points where he gets like super into it and super dependable and super like leadership, and there are also a point where he's less scared in this one. And he's more like, I mean, he is a little scared, but it's not like fear is ever present in everything he does like it was in the first one. Here he's just more like sad and regretful.
Yeah, the two aren't necessarily. They're mixed because they're mixed together in the both of them, but it's less of a paranoid fear for my life and more of a I'm sad now.
Yeah, Kichi's a sad boy.
Exactly. And that's a good observation because that's what I was going to lead into for kind of like how I said about Rena, where you kind of want to take the points of 1 and 2 together and put them together. They mentioned this, a big part of Higurashi, we are seeing everything from Keiichi's point of view. So you do definitely have to think, okay, take Keiichi from last time, take Keiichi from this time, and just kind of think like, all right, what's the same, what's different, and how is his perspective being skewed based on what's different and what's the same? It's very important for both of these, But
definitely like a big thing was that they talk about the like in the first one he just stumbled upon a newspaper, I think it was, where he finds out about this incident with the dam.
Just really quick to interrupt because you're kind of right. He says to Tomitake she's looking for a missing arm because he's like, oh, I forgot Tomitake's not one of my friends. Whoops. And then he says they're still looking for an arm, and he's like, what the hell? So when he's at the dumpster and Rana goes off to get some tea because Keiichi's sweating, trying to rescue Colonel Randy so she can take him home, he goes looking for some newspapers and finds one about the dam.
That's right. And like, but in this case, and then like he decides to act about this to Rena. And Rena's like, nope, never heard of it. Bye. Because in a way, she was trying to protect Keiichi from the truth, which is not very nice for a friend. Is the meanest thing that Rena did in book 1.
Yes, trying to protect her friend. Very mean.
Well, she lied to her, and that's not very nice.
Nice. I mean, where's the lie there?
I lost my point. Oh no, but in this book, like, I think it was Mion, that just said straight up, yeah, there was this huge thing with the dam, and it took a lot of effort from us, but we really turned it around, and so he got a much happier introduction to the dam than the first time. It was like, all I know is that there was something involving an axe and they're missing an arm.
Yeah, he had to get it second-handed from Tomitake and Oishi. That's how he found out there. This time it was Mion and Shion being like, oh yeah, everything's hype, everything's great.
Yeah, everything's hype, everything's great, and he doesn't buy that at all. In this one, he gets the propaganda up front, and he believes it.
Yeah, because he sees the unity of Himiwazawa with the gangsters.
Exactly, and
then he's like, that saved my life, so I can't question it.
yeah.
Like, it's a little weird, and like he knows something's up about it, but at the same time, he's like, that saved my life, so that's cool.
I really like. There's definitely flaws to the character for sure. I love Keiichi as a protagonist like a lot. I love. He isn't a blank slate, which is point number 1. But he's still an outsider, so he's left kind of in a mystery like we are. But he's very talkative. He has his own personality traits that make him I can understand why everybody's like, oh yeah, Keiichi, we want to hang out with you. I get why there's a lot. I almost said something pretty like a pretty big oopsie. But there's a lot to him. He's not just like, I'm boring.
He's a pervert, but he's charming.
He's a fucking idiot, but he's not
He's
boring.
an idiot and a pervert, but he's also charming. Like he's I could see myself talking with this kid at lunch. That's the way I would take it.
My big thing with Keiichi is that he's an idiot. Like, I'm not even gonna try to pretend like he's like he has anything beyond book smart. He is book smart. We did see that last time. He is very book smart. Yeah, and this time too. There's a comment like he's way ahead of his studies. He can take a few days off. But
you mentioned like a unit 731 at one point.
Yeah, he is very book smart. He's just not social smart in the slightest. But anyway,
no.
Oh God, what was my train of thought? I lost it. Shoot. It's not coming back.
I thought he was 16 and Mian was 17.
That might be it. I forget like the exacts, honestly.
But
it's definitely that ballpark. Like you're right.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure that Rika and Satoko were like 13, something along that.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right. It's hard.
They're young.
It's hard to tell exacts because they never like outright say it. But it's that ballpark. Yeah.
They're 13-year-olds, and they also have their own apartment, but the apartment is a shed.
You gotta love that, like, Rika, the most beloved person in the whole village, is just like thrown in the backyard.
Yeah, I literally.
So, all right, let's talk about Rika and Satoko, because I kind of rambled for a bit. I'll cut that. Let's talk about Rika and Satoko. I guess let's talk about Satoko first, because I feel like we could really talk about everybody except for Satoko. She hasn't done much yet.
Yeah.
So
she's just a brat.
No, but the thing is, I don't know if I said this in the first one, but I can really sense, especially when they go into the backstory of Satoko, I can really sense that like she's a brat, and she also has just the saddest story.
Her parents are dead. Her brother's missing.
She's literally all by herself.
Yeah. The only person she has is Rika. That's it.
Exactly. Like I there was no mention of like an adult. But
no, they live by themselves. Sato's parents are dead. Rika's parents are dead.
Yeah, it's just like, hey kids, go in there. We'll fix up a kitchen for you eventually, but like
I mean, you see Rika's lunches and stuff. Rika can manage herself. Satsuko, I don't know, but Rika's fine.
Yeah,
Rika's fine.
Satsuko would just be the roommate that'd be watching TV all day. But yeah, I definitely got a sense that there's a lot sadder. There's something a lot sadder about her, based on what we already know. But she just disappeared, and that's pretty much the last of it. She was thrown down a well.
She tipped over a pot of curry.
She tipped over a pot of curry, and then
that's karma.
Yeah, and then in the bonus, it's just like, what the fuck? I had nothing to do with this episode.
I love that line so much. The
line is literally, none of this concerns Satoko at all.
Like, whenever it was just like, the mayor died, and Rika died, and Satoko. And
and
Shion died.
That's Satsuko. Yeah, she was down there too. So, all right, that's super short but valid. Let's talk about Rika.
Rika definitely had a lot more. She still seemed to be like the short, like she was just wise young girl who like is mature for her age, and that carried on in this one too.
And we definitely see why.
Okay, before we talk about anything else, we'll edit this into the episode somehow, but we have to talk about this sprite. Look at what I just put in the group chat. We have to talk about this.
I noticed. I wrote that down. Like,
God,
this is my favorite thing. It's so bad.
Angry Rika-chan. Those eyebrows look photoshopped.
It looks like Kirby.
Oh, it looked like American Kirby, yeah.
Yes, Exactly. It's so funny. I'm sorry. I'm
There's
sorry.
no way we can have this work for the audio episode, but
Watch the YouTube video, and while you're at it, subscribe. We should have a URL by then.
We'll put in like an EPOT or something for the pod. I don't care. Anyway,
Yeah,
sorry.
but
Sorry about that.
That said, like when I saw that, it's like as soon as I see a sprite that is slightly different than anything else I've seen before, it's like Bad Boys 2. I say shit just got real.
Oh, the new Oishi sprites. We got to talk about those. But anyway.
Oh yeah, Oishi too. Yeah.
Rika was on, like, she's like Satsuko and how she didn't have much to do, but she's a very big player in this one. Especially when, well, I know we keep bringing this scene up. It's like it's the most iconic part of Higurashi too, but curry, like, you know, Satsuko's out doing all this stuff, and it's like, oh, Satsuko, how could you? And the whole time, it's like Rika's in the back just making good curry. Like, Satsuko is, you know, front and center, like the one you get mad at, but Rika's, like, you know, in the back being like, hoo-hoo. Or, I'm sorry, she goes, me.
She calls up Keiichi and says, "Look what I do! It's Mr. Curry!" And they play along. They get cute together. She's shooting lasers at me. And it's a cute thing. And it's like, hey, did you have anything to say? No, I've used you now. You're done. Like,
I fulfilled my purpose.
I fulfilled my purpose. Thank you. That was the line. Yeah, I fulfilled my purpose. It's like, what?
And then by the time you realized it, it's too late.
Too late. Can I talk about how cute it is that Keiichi went along with that though?
Oh, that was nice.
Yeah,
like, I mean,
yeah.
It ended in disaster. Don't get me wrong. And,
it ended in disaster, but this felt like what this school was trying to do was trying to get these different age groups like socializing, and it's like that's cute.
I love it. And then
and
then Gremlin Satsuko shows up.
No, I think Rika's more devious than she lets on.
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
And this is definitely going to play a part when eventually she turns evil. I'm telling you, it's going to happen. She's a demon, and it's going to happen.
We already know that like Rika is involved with the mutant because she's the only one left in the family, right?
Yeah. She's the only one left.
So she is also.
We're just waiting for the right time.
Yeah, she is an accomplice as well. It's just we're gonna have to wait for another time loop to figure that one out.
Probably one where she plays a demon and we see those freaky eyes of hers with the purple.
We gotta get those cloudy eyes back. Hey, the teacher already had cloudy eyes. She's hypnotized by the demon of curry. That's what's going on this whole time. It had nothing to do with Mion and the doll. It had nothing to do with that. It was because
watch. Demon is a derogatory term. I will have you call them the angel of curry, okay? I guess because they'll also be pretty quick. We can move on to Tomitake and Takano. Number one thing that I want to say about them, ironically enough, it's about them dying. So we knew Tomitake clawed open his throat. We knew that from last time. When Oishi told Keiichi about Takano in Higurashi 1, it was the day after the festival, so they didn't know anything. Here, he doesn't tell Keiichi until a while after, so we find out specifically what it was with Takano. It's that she was burnt, possibly strangled, and then burnt. And Oishi, if I'm not mistaken, he also mentions they did dental checks, and there are some issues with that, but they're kind of getting swept under the rug. I'm pretty sure that's specifically what it was. That's fun.
Yep.
And as watch,
yeah, unless it's different.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, so we learn about how we learn how Takano dies, or possibly. Well, yeah, but also we also learned that who wanted to go into the storage room maybe wasn't Takano to begin with.
It was actually Keiichi's dad, who is actually
Q Neutron.
Keiichi's dad getting confirmed for a Nickelodeon All-Star.
Well, hey there, Jimbo. I'm gonna go inside this creepy shit.
Hey, don't tell your mother.
Ducks in there.
Don't tell your mother.
Hey, Sugar Booger, what's this?
we're just going in some illegal shed. You don't have to
I'm
worry
gonna
about
pick
us.
the lock, sugar booger.
Oh yeah, it's like the day after they're doing this whole search, and like Casey is just like shaking with fear and regret, and
And then you just hear you nuts and go, one day I sat on a banana, and that, of course, changed my life. I hope this meme never dies.
I worry that it will.
It's probably going to, but
we'll see. I mean, there are a lot of things we've carried through the podcast. We'll see. We'll see.
Anyway,
yeah. I mean, is there anything about Tomitake and Takano?
Takano might be a demon.
I think she's like super into like if this was 2021 and not 1983, she would be subscribed to like a dozen true crime podcasts. Like,
oh my god,
she would be.
But
Oishi. Yeah, Oishi got some new sprites here. He's got one where he looks really mad, and he's got one where he just looks really pissed.
He looks really mad, and he lost his eyebrows.
And he lost his eyebrows, yeah.
That creeped me out a bit. I'm not gonna lie. There was one point I was like, oh.
I'm not gonna I don't know what the heck it is about Oishi. Like, definitely a part of it is his voice for sure. But there's just there's more to talk about with Oishi than there actually is. You know what I mean?
Because it's
like
he's such a unique
you can't
character.
help but talk about the guy, but he doesn't do that much. It's just what he does is like super unique, like Random said, yeah.
I think part of it is that he's just as much of an enigma as everybody else.
Yeah, but the big difference is that he's not like as much of a focus. It's like with Rika, for example, all the stuff that happens with her. Like, oh yeah, I remember that. With Oishi, it's like, oh, remember when like this guy? Remember what happened with him? If we're done memeing about Oishi, there's really only one set of characters left that we haven't talked about. They're pretty big deal. I don't know if you remembered them or not, but what were their names? I'm trying to remember. They're pretty similar. They rhyme. It's like Shmion, something like that. Something I don't remember. So yeah, no. I mean, if YouTube got stuff to say about Mion and Shion, because there's one. On reading it, this stuck out to me like a sore thumb, and
you're trying to see if either of us caught it.
Yeah, I'm curious. So you guys talk about her. I'll see if you noticed. If not, I'll point it out. But go ahead, talk about them.
They at first they're like polar opposites, which I think was supposed to be the point. Mion seems like the leader we know her as, and Shion just at first seems like just a sweet, innocent girl who's very feminine, very kind, sweet, who the complete opposite of Mion. And slowly but surely we were in, I think Kirby fan put it best, she's kind of a bitch.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I was rooting for Shion, but as soon as like the twist was found out, Shion just acted more and more jerkish. I'm like, I don't want the ship anymore.
Like, she's just being like, God, my sister sucks. Am I right? High five!
And at first I was like, this is just a weird form of self-deprecation.
No, watch. That is such Shion energy right there. Like, actually.
It really is.
No, that's literally what happened!
Yes!
Literally, she's being like, hey, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, my sister sucks. She's so ugly and fat, not like me.
You agree, right?
And Keiichi's just like, oh man, Mion?
Oh god, like how does she even like wake up in the morning? Like, honestly.
Like, I don't know. I always hang out in the park. My sister doesn't like hang out in parks. She's weird and disgusting, am I right? But that literally what her character turns into. And then she tempts Keiichi to go in a storage house, and then she dies. Well, no, she doesn't die. She gets kidnapped.
Yeah, she doesn't die, to be fair. She goes missing.
Oh yeah, she goes missing, and then she has post-traumatic stress disorder
and then she dies.
And then she died.
Hey, she was tortured.
Yeah, I mean, there is an important detail of, like, Kasai does mention that, like, He kind of assumed that it was the two sisters arguing, but he wasn't really sure. It kind of sounded like there was only one of them, but it also sounded like they were arguing, so who knows?
But what I do know is that Mion is not who she seems to be in multiple ways.
Neither is Xion.
I mean, Rena does tell us like a million times, like, no, Mion's actually very feminine. Just doesn't show it. Because she's kind of busy being a leader. Kind of hard to show a feminine side when you're trying to be like that. And Keiichi's like...
Yeah, and meanwhile, Keiichi's like...
And Keiichi's like, lol.
Lol, she's a man.
Like, how could that be?
And Rena's like, God, shut up.
You idiot.
You moron.
You moron. She has a crush on you. She thinks you're cute, but she's just trying to be a leader.
Said multiple times, and like during the quote date with Xion, it's just like, why is Mion sad, crying? Why is he sad about me? What did I do to her? What could I possibly have done when Rena could well have put it on a neon sign? You insulted her.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
But
you didn't give her the doll.
But I mean, I know we're done talking about Rena, but I gotta talk about her more. I love, like, she does actually say, like, if we're being honest, it's probably Mion who's in the wrong here. Like, I side with her, because as a girl, I know what she's feeling, but she's probably in the wrong for expecting you to pick all this up.
Yeah, because Keiichi isn't the only stupid guy who won't pick this up. I will give him defense, like, not giving the doll. Like, if that happened to me, I would have no idea. Because, like...
I'd be like, and I'm supposed to know this? So you don't kill my friends?
Yeah, that point I was just like, when she's like, if only you could have given that doll, a part of me was like, are you fucking serious?
It's gaslighting, like I said. She just does a whole lot of gaslighting in the second half.
Yeah, no,
Especially
definitely on the not Keiichi end. I can agree.
Like, at one point I can agree with the storage house, because you were warned. You knew that was fucked up to do it, but you did it anyway, and that broke some traditions. And I get why they were gonna be mad, but for not giving her a fucking doll.
The thing is that like the doll, I can see, cause I think they even said that. Did they say it was like a domino? Or am I imagining that? Cause for me, it's like,
yeah, she said it was a domino effect almost.
Yes,
but that
so
was
it was
a
like
piece.
there's this one thing, but the thing is, it was a one thing, but also like Keiichi just kind of kept prodding. And I can understand that a lot more than just this one singular thing that you didn't give me a doll and you gave it to your other friend instead. You didn't pick
Who
up.
already had a doll, which I get. Because Rena already had one, I think.
Yeah,
right?
Rena already did.
Because everyone got one, but her, and Rena got two.
I kind of want to push you guys in the general direction of it. So it was the scene where they were looking for Rika and Satoko. They have the ladder, and Rena runs off to get the keys. It is
Right.
Oh god, that
It is
scene.
that scene.
Oh.
So tickle your brains a bit, and if you got nothing, it really stuck out to me, like big
there's one
time.
point. There's a couple things. The whole like Satoko is cursed. That whole thing, that whole monologue. The point where we don't see her eyes.
Yeah, I mean, because Keiichi's on the ladder, you can't see her. I love that. I
Yeah.
love that detail. He can't see her, so all you see is this red.
They mentioned just Rika and Satoko, and are we getting warmer with it being about Satoko at least?
At this rate, you're not gonna get it. So can we just end this early?
Go ahead.
All right.
Yeah,
There's
let's end it
one
early.
very important player you're forgetting about here. She talks about Rika a little bit. She talks about Satoko a little bit. She talks about Satoshi a lot.
Oh.
What do you remember Mion said about Satoshi and Higurashi 1?
I gotta look in my
Transfer
notes.
student?
Oh, well, Random got it. He transferred out. In this scene, what did she say?
Oh my god, wait. She didn't say he transferred
She specifically said,
He just appeared.
yep. Why would she say that? Think about that. Why would she say that? But think about it. Why? Because in Higurashi 1, she was so insistent he did not disappear. He just transferred. Now, she's got the ladder, and she's saying he disappeared.
Because she did it.
Is it because like Is it because like this time around, like we don't know that like in the context of this, we don't know Satoshi?
Well, I mean, I'm
Like,
not going to confirm or deny anything, but I will actually deny that because he knew about Satoshi at this point. He did.
Okay.
Yeah, because he was mentioned briefly with the photographer.
We're dawdling around it. Just say it.
Well, no, because this is part of the mystery.
No,
this is part of the mystery. This is what you have to figure out.
Yeah. I think we're gonna find out and confirm things in a future story, but as of now, that's very interesting.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff. There's like simple lines like Mion the day after the festival when she tells Keiichi that she had a hangover. When she says, "Did you see Shion, Tomatake, and Takano at the festival?" Keiichi says, "I told you yesterday," and she goes, "Oh, did you?" Stuff like that. Like little things that you really need to keep your eyes open for. And Higurashi's loaded with this stuff. Higurashi 1 has plenty of examples. I didn't bring them up because I didn't want to, last time was more of like, oh god, oh god, oh god. And this time is more of like starting to put the pieces together. Yeah? Is there anything else you guys want to talk about, or are we ready to wrap up the longer podcast and get to final thoughts?
Yeah, let's just get the final thoughts.
All right. Who wants to start then? I will go last. So who wants to start? Final thoughts.
I guess I'll do it. I'll go first. I liked it, but it didn't grip me quite like the first one did. And I couldn't figure out what it was at first because the first one the first one was slow for the start too, but I still kind of got into it. I still thought it was fun, and then when things got, and it still had a decent amount of mystery to like get me into it. And then I just couldn't stop watching. Here, I still found myself like not struggling to watch it, but I was like, all right, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow, and then eventually I wound up just doing one a day instead of like 3 or 4 because there were points where I just like sped through the last one. And I think I agree with Kirby that it is a bit too wordy at points. It could do more while saying less. And while it does have some great moments and like between the story, I like Mion in it a lot. I like Shion. I like Rena. It's still my least favorite of the two so far. And yeah, I think that's it.
Okay.
Curry.
Okay.
All right. Wash, you're up.
What I will say is that I'm a little lower than good, and maybe a little higher than ambivalent. Mainly it was just that like it was just getting, like I said, it was getting sad in an exhausting way. Possibly just like what we said was wordy. It drags out, and I did not really. I like the first one. I can remember that at least like enjoying some of the hijinks in the first half. This one, it was just for the most part, the hijinks felt like we're dragging on. And then like, okay, we're finally getting a bit of the mystery. Oh, it's just getting extra gory and detailed, and just getting like, it's just a long post-traumatic stress disorder episode. It was getting bad. It was getting gruesome. It was getting weirdly perverted. Like you said, in a way where it was just like trying to like get people in. It was like, oh, this is so funny. How funny, Rika. The disturbing stuff. In a bad way.
Yeah, it's because I'm thinking like Higurashi. I know what you mean, but it's like Higurashi is disturbing. So,
I still will defend Chapter 5 though. Like that hijinks section was, I loved it. I thought it was great how like they just taught the bad guys a lesson by just making them shit their brains out.
But that's my main takes for this episode.
All right, I'm gonna be straight up with you guys. Best thing about the whole thing was the curry. Like, is just like, it's my favorite part. I always, whenever I think about Higurashi 2, I always think about the curry.
Yeah.
And I mean, I can't quite explain why. I just think that it's all the pieces being put together really well. And I mean, of course, I think about, the screen being inverted like it's a horror thing, but it's just Chie talking about curry, which is scarier than any of the horror we've seen up to this point. And I and I don't mean to trash on the curry scene because I freaking love it, but I think about my favorite scene from Higurashi 1, which was Rena at the door. And it's like, it's not even close. Like, Rena at the door is like 10,000 times better than anything Higurashi 2 could even try to do. Just everything about like everything leading up to that is, and everything in the scene itself and what follows is everything. It's so good. It's so good. And the bonus of like knowing the answers, it's like super satisfying and all that. With the curry, it's fun. Like knowing more about what happens with everything, and like you don't really get anything extra with the curry. It's fun. And I mean, when Higurashi 2 wants to be fun, it can be fun. I like I love that Satoko poisons them. I forgot about that. I love that a lot. And then Rika takes them away, but she takes them like an hour away. Like
and they're arrested for indecent exposure.
Yeah, they're arrested. Oh, good stuff. But I mean, I said it during the podcast. You two said it. Very wordy, very creepy, very. You could totally convince me that this was Higurashi 1 and Higurashi 1 was Higurashi 2. Just how much of like, it's so weird. It's like your first story is really good and then you write worse. It's like, doesn't this like the reverse happen here? I still like it. Part of that is probably because I know the answers. I remember when I went through the first time, I was pretty unimpressed. Now that I know the answers, it's obviously very hard looking back with not knowing the answers glasses, if to put it very specifically, because Higurashi 1 is like we all agree Higurashi 1 is a lot better, not like a little better, like a lot better.
Yes, yeah, a lot better, hands down.
It's just this one's just left in such an awkward spot that it's, and it could have been. I get why it turned out the way it did, because last time we were talking to Hinamizawa in the current, and this time we're talking about Hinamizawa in the past. So I get why he situated it like that. It just could have been a lot more interesting, I feel like. I don't feel like any of it really turned out spectacularly. Except for curry. Curry is... I always think about the curry. Curry. Those are my final thoughts are curry.
I think what this is probably a sign of is the author being a little too involved with the world building. That they're just so fascinated by the history that they created that they're just gonna dump all of it onto you.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they're just that passionate about it. Like I love world building to death, but it can also go pretty south.
Yeah. I mean, I remember what I said.
Really
I remember what I said last time. The world building in Higurashi 1 is like as good as it gets. Mm-hmm. So it's so weird. It's passion, and that's a good way of putting it. That doesn't change my final thoughts, though. They're still curry.
Okay. I mean, curry.
All right. So thank you for sticking around, folks. Hope you enjoying. Next time we'll be reading book 3, which very there's a lot to talk about. Wash, plug.
Yes, Wash, plug it.
Oh yeah, there is a plug. That's right. If you like what you listen to, then you can check out our Twitter page at WRK Podcast. And you can also subscribe to our YouTube channel. We just hit, at this recording, we just hit over 100 subscribers, but YouTube does not let me do a custom URL yet. I don't know what's going on, but I hope that gets fixed in so I can plug the custom URL. But look up Pixar Perspective or Star Kid Spotlight. We'll show up either way.
Maybe when my podcast might show up. I'm not sure, but you can go for it.
Yeah, try it.
I mean, and you can also listen to us in audio form, unless you're doing it right now, at wrk.simplecast.com.
And
we had a sound cloud.
Wait, what do you mean had? Is it gone?
I'm not using it.
It did. The SoundCloud
Did it?
disappeared.
The sound cloud got demoned away. That's what
Oh my
happened.
god, no! No!
And with that note, I'm Random Curry here.
I'm the Curry.
Our SoundCloud is gone!
Rika, no!
It's been demoned away.
But
Well, good night.
Good night.
I'm